We have covered a slew of SCPs over here at Top 5 Scary, however let's examine those that distort perceptions, alter the mind, and leave humans cowering in fear. So today on Top 5 Scary videos I'm going to be counting down our list of the top 5 scary mind-altering SCPs. Before we begin though, be sure to stick around until the end of the video where I'll be responding to some of your comments. And with that, let's jump in. Coming in at 5, SCP-316. 316 is a bronze-aged carbide lamp. The casing corresponds to no manufactured models and appears to be homemade. The bulb is ordinary and can be replaced without impeding the function of SCP-316. This SCP does not function unless two D batteries are in the battery compartment with their positive ends facing each other. When switched on, 316's bulb emits a nearly opaque beam of white light. Non-reflective objects and materials in contact with this light have their molecular structure rearranged into patterns which homogenize reflected photons, distributing their wavelengths equally throughout the visual spectrum. Essentially, over 6 seconds of exposure, affected surfaces lose all colour, retaining shades of grey of the same luminosity as the original surface. Now that doesn't sound all bad, does it? Well, 316 has a temporary but more drastic effect on living or sentient organisms. Its effect is spread evenly across an organism, even internally, as long as part of the organism is exposed to its light. Effects set in over 27 seconds of exposure and gradually wear off over the next 24 hours. In addition to loss of colour, most affected organisms experience the following: colour blindness, lower body temperature, low energy, slowed movement, monotonic, slurred speech, inattentiveness, short-term memory loss, apathy, lack of aggression, negligible emotional response, passive cooperation with instructions, relative lack of desire to lie or deceive, limited capacity for foresight or creative thought. After recovering from the effects of 316, most people report symptoms of nausea and depression for up to 1 week. 316 needs no special containment other than to prevent misuse by unauthorized personnel. Coming in at number 4, SCP-1363. 1363 is a highly contagious human-specific virus which infects epithelial tissue. Transmission occurs through physical contact with infected bodily fluids. The virus is capable of rapidly mutating resistance to hostile agents, thus far rendering all antiviral treatments ineffective. Infection by 1363 occurs in 3 stages. Number 1. Stage 1 begins between 3 days and 1 week following exposure, with subjects reporting a sour, metallic taste and persistent headache. Scrape-like skin lesions appear on the extremities through unknown means. Stage 2 occurs between 2 and 3 weeks following exposure, with subjects developing severe and widespread arthritis, as well as anemia and a progressive suppression of the immune system. At this point, lesions will start to form coherent words and sentences which are controlled by 2 entities, collectively designated SCP-1363-1. Now, Stage 3, after 5 months, 1363 will cease replicating, marking transition into Stage 3. At this point, the virus naturally is filtered out by the renal system, followed by a cessation of all symptoms. In all cases, no traces of 1363 remain in the body after 7 months. Personnel who begin to exhibit symptoms of 1363 infection are to submit to blood testing. In the event of a breach, BRS 101 is to enter lockdown, and infected individuals are to be quarantined under Level 3 biohazard protocols. Coming in at number 3, SCP-3055. 3055 is the collective designation for 8 humans, dubbed 3055-1 through 8. Of the 8, 7 were formerly the members of Dan's Institute of Improvised Thespianary, an acting troupe specializing in improvisational comedy based out of a now-defunct theatre in New York City. Starting at some time in the early 2016, it has been impossible for any member of 3055 to enter or exit a building without being accompanied by the other 7 individuals. Attempts to cause this to happen, both by 3055 and others, have resulted in any unseen force blocking the door of the building in question. 3055 is also unable to stop its ongoing set of scenes. Even when the group is moving, the scene continues while it is walking. Dialogue has not been observed to cease for longer than 2 seconds. Efforts to force 3055 to stop its scene has so far been unsuccessful. 3055-1 through 8 were all unable or unwilling to speak or communicate in any way besides the dialogue in the scene. This has largely impeded Foundation efforts to determine the origin of their condition or potential treatments for it. Now, despite being in a constant state of improvisation, these SCPs still have the same basic physical needs as non-anomalous humans, such as eating, drinking, sleeping, and excreting waste. While in containment, they have developed a system of shifts, in which 2 or 3 of the actors carry on the scene while the others fulfill these needs. Those on the inactive shift are still unable to independently enter or leave buildings, and generally do not divert their attention from the scene while they are awake. If 3055 becomes hostile, 3055 1 through 8 are to be tranquilized. Coming in at number 2, SCP-251. 251's origin is unknown. 251 consistently appears to be a small snow globe. Attached is a series of photographs taken of the same artifact over time. This indicates that the snow globe is at least partially animate. However, when viewed directly by multiple people, there is no apparent movement except by a perpetual blizzard. The scenes depicted in 251 are all extremely violent or morbid, my favourite things, occasionally depicting something fantastical while mostly depicting more realistic brutality. All those who have been alone with 251 for any amount of time have later displayed extreme violence, xenophobia and emotional distress. 251 is to be kept in a locked container at all times. No one is to enter the container alone. If anyone is found to have been left alone in the container for any amount of time, they are to be treated as violently hostile and terminated with extreme prejudice. The container is to be guarded by armed personnel at all times, and guards should never allow anyone, regardless of clearance level, to move the artifact or be alone with it. Sounds of screaming, gunfire and fires will be heard from within the container. This is normal, don't panic. I love snow globes. I wish I owned that. And finally, coming in at number 1, SCP-1048. 1048 is a small teddy bear that is capable of moving of its own accord and can communicate through a small range of gestures. The subject regularly shows affection to individuals in ways found endearing by most people. I don't find that endearing though. Affection is usually given in the form of a hug to the lower leg, but subject has also been observed dancing, jumping in place, and in 2 separate events it has even drawn childlike pictures for janitorial staff. Though it is capable of simple gestures to indicate yes or no answers, it will often not react to lines of questioning concerning its nature or where it originated from. The more anomalous behaviour of 1048 was not observed until 7 months after it was originally secured. It is said that the subject is able to construct crude replicas of itself using various materials by a process that has yet to be observed directly. It has been suggested that 1048 uses its endearing qualities to lull those around it into a false sense of security, allowing it to collect materials to produce these creations. Sounds a lot like me. Can't trust me. Currently there are 3 known creations of SCP-1048, designated 1048-A, B, and C. The nature of these creations has been in stark contrast to 1048's general behaviour, as all have exhibited extreme violence towards humans. The most disturbing is of course 1048-A, which resembles a teddy bear in similar size and shape to 1048, however it is composed entirely of human ears. How freaky is that? 1048-B has an arm of a human poking out, grasping at the air, seemingly stemming from its stomach, and 1048-C is composed entirely of rusted metal scraps. The whereabouts of 1048 are currently unknown, though it is still believed to be somewhere in Site-24. Well, there we have it. You guys agree with our list? Were there any mind-altering SCPs that we missed? Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, and perhaps we can do a part 2. Before I go though, I just want to respond to a few comments from one of our last videos. Top 5 scary locations on Google Maps. Whiskey Brewer said Queen Lucy looking like she's about to drop a Savage mixtape. I love this comment, which is why I wore the same sweater today as I did yesterday. That Sweet Sent a Booty. Man, I hope these locations don't have a review on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't want to sit through the general consensus. You guys are really dragging me today. I love a general consensus. Richard Lavelle said, are there any other cannibals who want to eat Lucy? I mean, by all means eat me, because I'm ready to just die at any time now. Klaatu said, Lucy will please deliver my eulogy. I love morbid things, so yes, I love funerals, my favourite events. What the f are you wearing though? Are you a high school drill teacher? Maybe. Or my high school gym teachers were hella gay, so yeah. And on that note, if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another scary vid. And until next time, see you later. As well as anemia and progressive suppression of... What? What did I write there? No. Wish someone would tranquilize me. Coming in at number 2, SCP-20... What am I even saying?